Hey guys, it's been a while since I posted anything, and we are about halfway through October now. As you can see, I have my tiny decoration. I also have a little stuff on my desk and whatnot, but the year has been good and busy. For me, about like averaging around 25 hours a week for the most part, minus a couple of holidays, because here in LA there's a lot of Jewish holidays and school holidays. So there's that. I have most likely reached my goal by the time December hits. I'm only a few more sessions in, and then that way it will be at my goal, which is great, which means next year I am going to have to extend my goal just a little bit higher, so that way I can actually start doing some retirement planning and hopefully figuring out housing back home in the Philippines, and seeing family back there as well. But any case, I am in my little morning routine. I have my little oatmeal and coffee situation set up, and that's my basically everyday meal minus the weekends where we have time to indulge during Friday, Saturday before my partner goes back to work on Sunday. But besides that, I'm doing good. Life has been kind of busy. Been teaching a little bit more yoga lately, which is great. That way I can start getting a little bit more comfortable with how to set up people and find flows, and also start teaching people towards the more advanced stuff of that, and then eventually get into my next stage of it, which is the 300 hour, and then hopefully the therapeutic yoga stuff. And I did do the Bassi Mentor program over, what was it, last month, I believe? Or maybe it was a month before. Time flies. I did the Bassi Mentor program, which was amazing. It was a 3-day weekend event. We did learn about 150, around there, new exercises, but it was definitely more unique because you as a teacher, yes, you got to practice, but also you had the opportunity to put the notes that you would like to read and understand for yourself. So it was definitely different than the graduate comprehensive program where they provide all the details for the setup and for what muscle focus and so on and so forth. And it did definitely hit a lot of the classical things, which was great because that's always something you want to explore as you become a teacher in the long term, which for me, I am entering my 8th year of teaching, I believe. When did I start? Something like 8 years now, I'm pretty sure. The last 2 years have been the busiest for me. Before that, I was teaching a lot of group classes, but I like to focus on the privates because you get a lot more success with people's outcomes. So I like seeing that progress within people and also pushing their progress to the next level. And my longtime clients have started to realize that after I did the mentor program, because they are always saying like, oh, this is getting harder again. So it's not that it wasn't hard before, it was just that they knew the routines, they knew what they were focusing on. And then of course I use different variations and different props to advance them in that way. And I have a lot of my ladies starting to do a lot of the Cadillac work at the top. So they're hanging off the trapeze and the top bars of the Cadillac. But that has been my little journey so far. I'll see how the day goes and update you because I have 5 clients today, I believe, with a 1-hour gap and then lunchtime. So it will be a busy day for me. And also, these are clients I've been seeing for a while, so nothing too crazy mentally, but definitely a lot of clients for the day because usually 6 is my maximum before I start becoming loopy. All right, let's see how the day goes. Okay, I finished my 4 or 5 clients for the day, and now I'm headed out to get my stuff ready for myself and hopefully get some Halloween chocolates. But my little setup has a couple pumpkins, my little rest your bones sign, It's small, but it's always cute to have something for the holiday. It's one of my favorite ones. But I also decorate too for the winter, for Christmas and stuff. But okay, today is Friday and I just finished doing my intake with a new client. I've been seeing a lot of people lately for hypermobility issues and disorders. So people who are a little bit more flexible in the joints, having more chronic pain, frequent injuries and sprains like ankle sprains. So it's been interesting. It's definitely not a demographic I was used to teaching back in when I first started, but now it is becoming something a little bit more consistent. And it does come from people who have a dancing and yoga background, but also who just in general tend to do more of the stretchy kind of sports. So that's been an interesting new way of teaching, but that was very good and hopefully she continues. But hey guys, it's Halloween, so it's the end of October. And hopefully this whole little video is just a nice little recap on how it's like being a studio owner in a private practice. I don't have any other teachers with me, but let me show you my outfit. So I got this really cute outfit, which is actually like a workout set from DC Comics, and the bra is matching, and it is from Harley's stuff, so very cute. Has the little heart and the diamond. But that's my outfit for today, and then I have my cute little Timberland boots, which you can see that better. Perfect. But I'll give you a little recap after the end of the day and tell you how the month has been. Alright, so let's conclude this video. That was just a little recap of my October, and we are now on Monday, the first Monday of November. So Halloween was great. Got to look at a couple of houses, saw a lot of kids, of course, and things like that. But so October looked like a fairly average month for me, which equaled to about like 20 sessions a week. Which does mean that by the time of this recording, I will have hit my goal for the year, because that's about the average that I'd like to work every week, because I do a lot of admin stuff on the side. If you haven't seen my social media yet, I like to do a lot of like graphic design and video editing for basically more inspirational stuff rather than the wow and cool kind of like Pilates exercises that everybody posts about, because that's not really my clientele. My clientele tends to go more for the traditional flows and following more of like the traditional Pilates exercises rather than going above and beyond into more of that high intensity training. There may be a few people who I do teach that occasionally, maybe because they're working up to a marathon or working up into going on a very long vacation trip, somewhere that requires a lot of elevation and also a lot of hiking. But for the most part, I try to stick to what I learned. And that has worked well for me. So for those of you who are curious, one of the very first videos I made here where you can view how to make your hourly rate would be if you are trying to be a solo practice like myself. You'd essentially want to divide the total amount. So the total amount you want to make for the year divided by how many weeks in the year that you are working, and then you break that down continuously until you hit essentially what your hourly rate would be. There's a video here that I will try to link somewhere so you can see that, but that has worked well for me. This also does include the fact that I've been teaching for now into my 8th year. So the skill set that I have is maybe a little bit different than a beginner Pilates instructor who mostly teaches what's trending per se, which is not something you have to stick to if that is not your ideal way, because I did do that in the beginning because this is Los Angeles and people have to find work. So getting my hours was requiring me to work in places that I didn't love, but I enjoyed teaching. So it was a good experience for me in the long term. So Other than that, thank you for watching the video. If you have any questions about how to grow your own business or just other things that you'd like to see, feel free to ask and let me know in the comments down below. But otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.